Good morning. Hello, everyone. It's Frith here again with my 14th vlog of the LHP series I'm doing. And I can't believe that a week has flown by since the last one I did, which was about the law of attraction, which in the video I called 11, but was actually 13. So this is 14. Numbers and maths and logic, it's just not my thing. Anyway, so today I'm going to talk about the Holographic Memory Resolution protocol, which is a healing modality, and what it is and how it works. Because, yeah, again, karma is going to be shifted up, something I really want to talk about, but I've had quite a lot of people asking me about this since I mentioned it in my last vlog, so I thought I'd go into more detail about this. But before I do that, there's a few things that popped up this week that I want to just cover. One of them was a viewer from Portugal, I believe it was, or Spain. She asked me this question, and I've seen it come up a few times, especially on my 10th vlog, which was about the Negative ET Alliance. And it's to do with the names of ETs. And I think we get a little bit stuck. You know, we're too focused on the names of these ET groups. I think a lot of ET groups identify themselves to us from the region of the galaxy in which they come from and how we tend to identify them as well. But, you know, we've got this idea that all the Pleiadians are good and all the Andromedans are good and the Anunnaki and the reptiles are the baddies, the Orion groups are the baddies, and the Arcturians are the good ones. I mean, it's very simplified that actually. I think what's best to do is, all right, well, understand that these are massive regions of the galaxy, and there are many, many, many races within each of those regions. And so you've got to, if you really want to know about who's the goodie and the baddie, is to zero on the races rather than the region. So, you know, I hope that helps. That when we're talking about the Arcturians, and this particular is the one that came up, going, but I thought the Arcturians were good. Well, I think there are a lot of Arcturian races that are good, and there are a lot of Arcturian races that are bad. And it's the same with every ET group, with the exception of a few, I think, which are just generally rotten to the core. But it's the same as saying, oh, all humans are good and all humans are bad. Of course we're not. You know, there's all sorts of layers in between. So I hope that, you know, puts to rest some people's concerns that they're following ET groups that are bad or good. It's a little bit more complicated than that. And yeah, and then also, you know, karma, that vlog is coming, still researching it, big topic. It's going to be a good one though. I'm not sure when that will happen. Anyway, let me carry on. Time is running away. Right. So, people asked about more details about the Holographic Memory Resolution, which I'm going to call the HMR from now on. And it is a healing modality, a protocol. Its main thing is to change our deeply held core beliefs, subconscious core beliefs, so not things we necessarily realize we hold, and change them into something else, something more generally much more positive, okay? So that's the main thing that this modality does. But by doing that, by changing your core beliefs, it sets into motion a ripple of healing energy down the karmic entanglements that you have. So resetting this starts a wave of healing that goes and does a lot of karmic repair for you. You drop a lot of karmic baggage as well, which is fantastic. Sort of nice side effect, I suppose you could say, of this. So how does it work? It works by taking you back to traumatic or significant experiences that you've had either in this life, but mostly in past life experiences that triggered the initiation of those deep core beliefs, and then you review those past lives, those experiences, and then you set them visually into another outcome. That's the holographic part of it. And you kind of take a picture of it, make it, bring it into your subconscious as the potential, as the reality, and then at the end of the process, you change the core beliefs that have resulted from it into something else. So to explain the whole process, I'm actually going to relate to you what happened to me during my experience. I had a session on the 30th of August with Carl Mollison, and I'm just going to take you through it, what I heard, what I experienced, and what the outcome was. So as I said, it was done by Carl Mollison, who is a channeler, and he's also the man who developed the LHP healing modality, which is what I'm doing the whole vlog series about. And what Carl does is I believe, he's writing a book about how he channels. He shifts his consciousness out of his physical body and then allows your consciousness to use his body as a vehicle out of which you speak. Carl's very, very meticulous about protecting the work he does. This is very important, people. If you decide to go ahead and book a session after you've heard me talk about this, do make sure that your practitioner puts into place safety measures. Ask them about that. Ask them about how they go about channeling and what they do in order to protect the work. Because if they don't, the chances are that an imposter, an interloper will come in and then take the place of your subconscious and start telling you stuff that might not necessarily be true to you. So very important that. So what Carl does is, he channeled my deep subconscious, and he does it with the help of an assistant who does the questioning. Because Carl's not there, so to speak, although he can observe and listen in to my consciousness, he requires an assistant to lead to make the protocol happen, to ask the right questions at the right time. And then they record it, and then you get sent the audio file, and listening to the audio file has a very interesting effect, which I'll talk about once I've gone through it. So what happens? Right, this is what happens. Once your consciousness has come through Carl, or whoever your practitioner is, and says, it's Fritha here, the questioner sets up with you a safe place in which to conduct the session. So you find yourself, whatever makes you safe. And what I imagined was a beach I grew up on called Clifton in Cape Town. It was empty and early in the morning, and it was beautiful, blue sea, blue sky, white sand. I just felt so at home there, so safe. And then the first thing she says is, well, what color do you see? And I said, blue. Now, this is very interesting, okay? So this session happened on the 30th. And I actually only listened to it a day and a half later. The audio file was sent to me. I opened it up early on the 1st, and I listened to it. And as the questioner was posing the questions to myself, my deep subconscious, me listening to it, the answers came to me before I heard them being said through myself, through my deep subconscious. I hope I made that clear. So while listening to it, I knew what the answers were going to be that I answered, because I'd taken part in it already. So it was really interesting, But then I do have a little bit more of a psychic ability than other people do. I've seen it seems to be. So I was able to sort of tune into that. But so I sort of took part consciously in something that had happened at a subconscious level to me a few days before. Anyway, so I saw the color blue, and then you asked to pull that blue color up and down you. It's just to get you started. Then the practitioner asks you, at which point in your physical body? Okay, so my issue I was doing this for was my addiction to alcohol, which I talk about in vlog 9 if you want to go and look at it. I'm trying to get to the root cause of it, why it's been such a struggle for me this life to overcome this addiction. And the question said, well, when you think about your desire to drink, you know, and your need to drink, what comes up in your physical body? And just a little aside here, your physical body is an energy field, okay? It's not solid. It looks solid. It feels solid, but it's energy. And when we have aches or pains or things pop up in our physical body, 90% of the time, it's a signal that something is amiss at hand and it needs our attention. It's the way the body talks to us. Our subconscious, our conscious mind, and our higher self speaks to us through our physical body by saying, hey, listen, something needs, you need to pay attention to something. So anyway, the first past life I was brought into, the questioner said, where do you feel it? And I said, I feel it in my stomach. And there was a black cloud in my stomach. And then they said, well, how old are you when this feeling appears in your body? And I said 20. And then you go and you relate a past life. Now, what I'm going to tell you now is detail that I got after I listened to it a second or third time. All you get is a few answers from your subconscious, sort of talking about a past life. Not that much detail. The detail I'm going to tell you comes from the downloads of information I got about my past life. That it's an ability that I'm starting to develop quite strongly since doing the LHP. I've become a lot more psychic and clairvoyant and able to sort of see and know things, okay? So the detail I'm giving to you now only came later. So what actually happened in that first past life is that I was caught drinking rum by my father. Now, I was 20, and this, I know, was in the 1950s. And he beat me with a belt. And I was very humiliated and ashamed, but also angry. I was defiant. I got cross. I thought, well, who the hell are you to beat me up for drinking something that you do? And a sort of rebel girl popped out, which I kind of see myself, especially when I was younger in this lifetime. And as an act of rebellion, I started drinking, and it got out of hand in that lifetime, and I ended up becoming very addicted and drinking myself to death at the age of 40, I believe. And this was in the 1950s. I was in a sort of middle-class family, very concerned with what the neighbors think, sticking to the social norms of the time, and I sort of rebelled against that. And yeah, okay. So that's where that route that started. Then what you do in the process is the questioner says, right, this is not, you can change this in any way you like. You can change the people in it. You can change the outcome of it. You can change yourself. You have all the power in the universe to change the situation. How do you want to do it? And I saw myself, I said that I wished that I had understood that the rule to not drink was for a good reason, and that was because it was not good for me, and that I'd walked past that liquor cabinet and not made that decision that day. And then you asked to make a picture of it, and I saw myself as a sort of 20-year-old. I looked like I do today, by the way, in the downloads I had, sort of blonde ponytail, looking very 1950s, walking past, sort of in the motion of walking past the liquor cabinet, and I took that picture. And then you asked to frame it in a color, and I framed it in green. And then you asked to bring that green up and down through your body, that color. And then you're asked, well, how does your stomach feel now? And I said, my God, it's gone. The black cloud's gone. I feel fine. And then they took me. Then the same process was repeated, so I'm not going to go through every step, but then it was said, right, where do you feel, if you think about alcohol, where in your body do you feel it? And I said, and the next one was very sad, actually, and I cried a lot. I hope I don't get all emotional now. I don't think I will. I think I'm okay now. But it was in my tongue. My tongue was very swollen. And it turns out that I was an 11-year-old girl, and I've done my research now. I think I know where it's from. I was an 11-year-old girl in a tribe in Sudan, a tribe actually called the Jin. It's spelled Dinka, but it's pronounced Jin. And it was very isolated, quite a long time ago. And my parents had left to go and get provisions, and they didn't come back. And I was left alone in like this little hut, but it wasn't in a kraal. I wasn't surrounded by other people. I was very isolated, and they didn't return. And I think they were killed. I wasn't abandoned, although I felt abandoned. And there was only enough water for one day that I could find. So I drank all the water up in one day, and for 2 days I had nothing to drink, and I was dying of thirst. And I was terrified to go out, to go and look for anything, because, you know, Africa, dangerous. So I went through, you know, my parents hid provisions from thieves, and I came across liquor. And drank it for the thirst, but it had an incredible effect on me. You know, it made me feel better. It stopped the fear. I forgot briefly about the fact that I was alone and terribly scared. And so the liquor took away all my fears, and I fell asleep as well for the first time for a while. And when I woke up, I was even more dehydrated, but I was craving that feeling again, you know, craving that sense of safety and escape that it gave me. And I died craving the alcohol. I died craving the effects of the alcohol. I died shortly after of dehydration. Anyway, that was reset into me seeing my parents coming back and looking after me again. So I changed that into a different outcome, which was my parents returned and everything was fine again, you know. And then I framed that in gold. I took the gold up and down through my body, and then my tongue was fine again. I said, oh no, it's gone back to normal size. Okay, I'm hurrying through this because we're on 17 minutes. The third incarnation, I felt it in my chest, and it took me back to a lifetime when I was 38 years old. It was during the time of the Vikings. Again, I looked pretty similar to how I do today. And my husband had left me, and I had a broken heart. I really loved this man, although he didn't love me very much, apparently, according to what I say. And I didn't drink, actually, when I was 38. But when he left me, there was a big keg of beer in the house, and it kind of reminded me of him, and so I started drinking, and it made me feel better. It took away the pain of him leaving me, and then it was the first time after drinking that I slept for 3 days. That's what I say through my subconscious. I woke up feeling terrible, hungover, and so I drink again, and then it makes me feel better. You all know hair of the dog. And anyway, and then I kept drinking, and then I drank myself to death again. So how I changed that into it was meeting a very kind, nice man, a friend, a partner, to be my partner in life, and totally forgetting this ex-husband of mine, and then having a happy life. And also I said, somebody coming in at time and removing that keg of beer from me, so I didn't see it as a solution. Then, once I'd got that image in my mind, I framed it in silver with diamond pieces in it, which I thought, oh, that's very me, you know, I'm a very sparkly artist kind of thing. And I washed that up and down through me, and then the pain in my chest was gone. Right. Then, those were the 3 main past lives that come up. I'm sure there are many, many more, but it's restricted to about 35 to 40-minute sessions. And then you're brought back to your safe place, and you're asked to see all the small inner children of all the lifetimes in which you've been hurt or have created this, this desire or whatever problem it is that you're having in this current lifetime. And on the beach in front of me, I saw about 400, don't really know, lots of little children. And then about 400 send yellow sunshine, and then you send them light, and I sent them a wave of yellow light sunshine through them, And I told them I love them all and I appreciate them and I hope they're happy. And then all the people that contributed to those small little frithers, damaging them in some way, I had to see them, and it was a huge amount. It's amazing how we hurt people and how people hurt us. It's quite incredible how it's all connected. Anyway, there was a vast crowd of grown-up people who had contributed to those little frithers being hurt. And again, I sent them healing light, a wave of healing through them. And then you're asked to imagine all your issues in a big pile. And then imagine how big the pile was. But I didn't see it that way. I saw it as a deep pit. And then I don't know what you would do with a pile, because I didn't do the pile thing. I did a deep pit. And then you're asked, well, how do you want to fill this pit? I said, I want to fill it with divine, loving light, and on top of it, I want to plant a garden. I planted a garden, so that out of all of that, a beautiful garden can manifest of various flowers, but most of the flowers were yellow and red. And then I took that yellow and red light and I sent it to everyone on the beach, those children and the adults in my life. And then I stated my old core belief, which was, I'm alone and unloved in this world, and there's nothing I can do about it. That was my deep-seated core belief. And I changed it into, I am love, and if I share it, I'll get it back. Oh, yeah. And the last thing I did was send a sort of wave, a ripple of beautiful, pure, healing white light through myself and everyone else there. And then the session was closed down. Anywho, gosh, this is a long one, but anyway. So what happened afterwards was the first time I listened to this audio, especially when I got to the garden bit, which has just triggered me again, I felt divine love pour into me. It just poured into me. I felt the healing going through me, and it was so intense. That feeling was almost unbearable. It's just something that I don't think a human is supposed to have in their body. It's too much to bear. And so I went to my partner. I said, you got to wake up. I need help. And I just cried tears of gratitude, tears of joy. It was just the feeling in me was just, it's indescribable. I'm telling you guys, when we go back to source, we've got a hell of it's going to be incredible. But it was, after about 15 or 20 minutes, I got a bit panicky. I thought, what am I going to do with this feeling? And then a voice said to me, Frithid, ground it, pull it out of you. Pull it into Gaia. It's going to heal Gaia too. And that's what I did. I did a visualization where I pulled this divine love energy through me, through my chakras, out of my base chakra into Gaia. And I was like, oh my God, I was like, whoa. And then I almost immediately fell asleep. And then a few hours later, I got up. And then I listened to it again, once I had sort of come down from that whole experience. And when I was listening to it again, and I've listened to it again, that's when all the information about my past lives came to me in images and in downloads of information. That's how I know so much about my past lives. It's not what you get out of the session. In the session, you get little bits of information. And so that was my experience of doing the Holographic Memory Resolution. And what has happened since, I'm not going to say I'm healed from alcohol addiction, because it's still there. I still have those urges. It's still something that wanders around my brain. But what's happened to my state of being is like, I'm just like a lake that's calm. Not just on the surface, but also deeply calm underneath. And that background chattering of voices is gone, stilled. And it's the most profound experience, healing experience I've had, probably on a par with what happened to me after my LHP sessions kicked in. And I highly recommend this healing modality to everyone. People, if you want to heal other people, you've got to heal yourself as well, you know. It's like being a good parent. You've got to look after yourself so that you can look after your child. It's the same thing if you want to go out and heal the world. In fact, you heal the world by healing yourself, because it's all interconnected. So start with yourself. Heal yourself first. Take the time. You deserve it. You deserve to be healed. You deserve to be happy. And healing is the way you go about bringing happiness. Really, people, I've never been happier in my life. And I'm very, very grateful for just everything. So I will leave a link to Team Archangel in the description box of this video. And you can make a request of Carl Mollison. But this is a very, very busy man, so it might take a while for him to get around to you. I also recommend that you go and look at other practitioners close to you who do this modality, the Holographic Memory Resolution. But do beware, like I said at the beginning, do your research about this practitioner, and please ask about how they protect their work. There's one thing I was going to say. Oh gosh. Oh, I don't know, it's escaped me. So, yeah, very long vlog. But yeah, I think it's important, you know, we've got to go about healing people. That's really our #1 priority now. And I think I've said everything I want to say. I wish you all a really lovely day. And again, as always, I'm going to finish off by asking Source Creator and the Divine Realm to protect this work and to get it out to the people who need this healing work done, that it will particularly help them reset their core beliefs into something more positive, so what they put out into their lives and the universe is of a much higher vibration, and it brings about healing. Thank you. Right, guys, I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.